I'd like to welcome in our next guest, who's really going to talk about it's a pretty cool innovation, marrying life insurance and workplace wellness together. Joining us to discuss this is Tal Gilbert, the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Innovation for the Vitality Group. Tal, good morning.
Hi there. Great to be with you.
Hey, great to have you on the program today. You coming to us from New York City today?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, well, great to have you here. Give a little background on the Vitality Group, and then we'll talk about what you're doing with John Hancock.
Sure. So globally, Vitality was actually one of the first to integrate wellness with both life and health insurance. So we actually started almost 20 years ago now with our parent company, Discovery, in South Africa, which at the time was already one of the larger health insurers there, and really made the connection that as a health insurer and as a life insurer, if you can help to make your members and your policyholders healthier, that's good for them and it's good for you as an insurer, and also obviously good for society more broadly. And that's where Vitality was born, and it was this idea of helping, removing the barriers to people living a healthy lifestyle and incentivizing them to be healthy. And so we've grown since then. For the last, for many years now, we've been working with some of the top insurers around the world, initially with Prudential in the UK, then with Ping An in China, with AIA in various other Asian countries, and in Europe to integrate wellness with life and health insurance. And then in the US, as the Vitality Group, we've also been a pioneer of employer wellness. So working with employers of all sizes around the country to help improve the health of their employee populations.
So Tal, talk about John Hancock has recently announced this partnership with you. So tell us specifically about that program and what that program entails.
Sure. So what we've done is it's an exclusive partnership between John Hancock, who, as you know, obviously one of the most kind of iconic and trusted brands in the life insurance market, and Vitality. And what we're trying to do is really bring in just a whole new approach to life insurance. So, for decades, centuries even, life insurance has been something that people buy to protect their families and their loved ones, in the case of catastrophic events, etc. But typically it's been a product that people buy and, receive a policy doc and leave it in a drawer somewhere for a number of years. And we're trying to create a much more personalized, dynamic form of life insurance that actually helps to reward people for healthy living, and actually by helping them to monitor everyday things they're doing to look after their health, whether it's going for a long walk or going for regular checkups and things, just helping to use that to reduce their life insurance premiums and give them other rewards along the way.
So what technologies are being incorporated to kind of track participation?
Sure. So the idea is really to make it as simple as possible for the policyholder.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want them to have to constantly record things and monitor and tell us what's going on. So initially, every policyholder will get a free Fitbit, one of the the wearable tracking devices, which have become very popular in the last few years. And if they choose to, they can connect that Fitbit up to the John Hancock Vitality app or to the website. That'll automatically record their steps, and if they hit certain steps targets, they'll get Vitality points for doing that activity. They can also go for annual checkups. They can check in at a gym using their mobile app. With certain gyms, actually, if they connect up their membership number, we collect data from the swipe cards. So the whole idea is really to just recognize people for things they're doing every day with the minimal effort from their side to record the activity.
So Tal, what is the reward and incentive? Is there any tie to the premium being paid, or how does it all work?
Yeah, so good question. I mean, there are a number of things. So the whole premise behind the program is that we know people are wired for instant gratification. Things like saving up today for the long-term future, or looking after your health today for your longer-term health benefits, kind of go against the grain of our instinctive behavior. So we actually try overcome that by giving you immediate rewards and sort of on a weekly, monthly, annual basis, giving you different rewards. So everything from earning vitality points every time you hit your 10,000 steps, or even do a few online questionnaires and things, to getting more frequent rewards, things like gift cards from Starbucks, iTunes, Whole Foods, every time you hit certain workout milestones or when you reach a vitality status, silver, gold, or platinum. And then even all the way up to things like travel rewards, half-price hotel nights at Hyatt, discounts off Royal Caribbean cruises. And the idea is just to give you a more immediate payoff for doing all the right things today.
Yeah, so this has very positive potential impact on not just the wellness industry, but also on the life insurance industry, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we really think it's interesting, as you've seen so many different industries change dramatically with mobile technologies, with changing consumer expectations. Life insurance has actually been one of those industries that, a policy today is pretty similar to one you would have bought a few decades ago. And we think that this brings, creates a much more customer-centric, a much more dynamic form of life insurance to this market. And to be honest, one I think that appeals to where consumers are today. We've actually seen the proportion of people who own life insurance come down to a historic low. It used to be in the 70s. It's now, I think, about 44% of American households have life insurance. And I think, really we see this product as a way of, making these things relevant to a lot of consumers who otherwise might not have considered buying life insurance.
Yeah, Tal. I love what you're talking about. I think it makes a lot of sense. And with your global view of being a discovery company, has this been done somewhere else around the world in other places?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So a similar model has been operating, as I said, in South Africa, but also in the UK, in Asia, and will also be rolling out in various European countries as well. I think what's interesting is with the rise of wearables, particularly taking off in the US in the last few years, I think this will be the first time that the wearables are as integrated and as embedded in the product as they are with the John Hancock Vitality product, which I think will make for a particularly engaging experience for policyholders.
Yeah. Well, this is wellness is a crowded marketplace, and you know that probably better than most. You're living and breathing it every day, and this is one differentiator for Vitality Group. What are some other things that differentiates Vitality from many of the others out there?
Sure. Well, I think the first thing, as you can tell, is because we really think about this as an insurer, and I'm an actuary. A lot of our senior team are actuaries, and so I think we come at wellness with a very sort of data-driven, evidence-based, rigorous approach. So I think although absolutely the consumer-facing technologies and the communication and making the whole making the programs fun and engaging are critical elements, but I think really, unless you're addressing the key risks that drive healthcare outcomes and costs, and unless you're working with the best evidence out there in terms of the behavioral economics and the different evidence-based practices in terms of changing behavior, I think you're not, you won't be getting the outcomes and income and impacts that you'd expect. And so I think our first key differentiator is that that evidence-based approach to wellness, and that features throughout our program. And the second thing, I think, talks to integration, not just of all of these different technologies and bringing in all of these different pieces of data, but putting it in front of the consumer and the employer in a kind of in a simple and intuitive way that's actually meaningful. I think we're seeing a lot of different employers and a lot of different consumers trying lots of different things, but unless they do come together in a meaningful way that actually drives action, I think they often dissipate after a few months. So I think that integration and the ability to make it intuitive for the member and the employer are things that we're very focused on.
Very good. Talk a little bit about, you do something else very interesting on your website. Tell us a little bit about Vitality Age.
Okay, sure. So I think this is one of those pieces that I think talks to exactly this idea of taking quite a lot of data and quite a lot of complexity and playing it the way that people actually make decisions. So most people are aware that, for example, what they eat or exercise or smoking may have an impact on their health in the future. But that often means that they typically put off changing behavior. So what we've done with Vitality Age is try take all of the consequences of the lifestyle you're living and make it real today in the form of the Vitality Age, which is, it's really a risk-adjusted age. It tells you not your chronological age, but how old you are based on the lifestyle you've been living. And unfortunately, as a nation, on average, our Vitality Age is about 5 years older than our actual age, which is a reflection of the fact that we're, I think all of us.
That's not a good thing to be telling us, Tal.
But the good news is that actually it's with relatively small changes, you can actually improve it. So exercising a bit more, eating a bit better. But the point is really to start a conversation and to get people thinking, actually, these little things do actually make a difference today, and no one likes to be older than they actually are. So, it's a nice hook to kind of get people to make a few changes.
If our listeners today, even our listeners are primarily in the business to business world, but say a listener wants to check this out and try it, do they have to be a member?
No. So as part of the John Hancock launch, we've actually created a Vitality Age calculator, which people can do just by going to the website, which is jhrewardslife.com. And people can complete a short questionnaire there, and they'll get the Vitality Age and hopefully do better than average, and see, but also get kind of importantly just get personal tips on how they can improve their age and reduce it.
Tal, that's great, and we'll put that address maybe when we put the archive of the podcast up. We'll make sure that the people can see that. Tal, it's been great having you on the program. Very, very informative discussion. It's another way this industry is innovating, and I'd like to give you a minute or so to leave our audience with a couple good takeaways.
Sure. I think just say what we've seen over years of introducing products like this in various countries is the intuitive piece, the bit that people get every time you present the product really does work. The more people do every day to look after their health, that really does change outcomes and claims in future. And by bringing these little kind of behavioral nudges and incentives along the way, people really do kind of change their behavior, and the population as a whole can shift through doing these things. So we're very excited about the opportunities here. We're seeing more and more employers introduce these programs effectively within their workplaces, and with the John Hancock partnership, excited to be bringing that directly to consumers as well, alongside their life insurance. So we're expecting to see these ideas spread further, and as the technology develops and the adoption increases as well, I think we'll see more and more innovation in this space.
Sounds good, Tal. Listen, I thank you again for joining us on the program today, and a reminder to our audience that you'll be able to access the archive next week of this interview. And Tal, if you have a chance, I'd love to see you join us down at our forum coming up June 23rd, 25th. You have a great weekend.
Great. You too. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Tal.